Okay, so get this. We've got a ton of really cool sources today, all about like the biggest names in cosmetics.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah. And the main source we're diving into, you ready for this? It's a top 10 best cosmetic companies list, straight from the top10s.com.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? And let me tell you, people did not hold back in the comment section.
Oh, I bet.
So it's not just about which brands made the cut, but like why they're so popular.
Yeah.
What makes people love them so much?
Totally. Like, what are the experiences and values that make people connect so strongly with these companies?
Exactly. Are we talking pure product quality,
Mm.
crazy good marketing, or maybe even like a sense of belonging to a community?
Yeah. And what's really fascinating is how diverse this list is. You've got the classic luxury brands, Chanel, Estee Lauder,
Wow, okay,
Dior.
those are like the heavy hitters, the names everyone knows.
Yeah, exactly. Like synonymous with high-end beauty, right?
Sure.
And then, bam, you've got drugstore staples like Maybelline and L'Oreal. Oh, yeah. I feel like everyone's used those at some point, right? Absolutely. It shows that good makeup doesn't always have to break the bank.
Totally.
And then you add in another category entirely, direct sales companies like Mary Kay, Unique, and Avon.
Oh, yeah. Those are the ones where it's like almost like a friend recommending stuff, right?
Exactly. They often build really dedicated communities around their products.
Okay, so I got to ask, how does that whole direct sales thing even work? Like, for those of us who aren't super familiar with it.
Sure. Basically, you have independent reps who sell directly to customers, often through their own personal networks and social media and stuff.
So it's like built-in word-of-mouth marketing, basically.
Pretty much, it creates a more personal connection with the brand, you know?
That makes total sense. Like, you trust a friend's recommendation more than some random ad.
For sure. And that personal touch really shines through in the reviews. We've got one from a woman in her 60s who finally found products that worked for her sensitive skin after searching for years.
Wow, that's got to be a relief, right? Especially when so many people struggle to find stuff for sensitive skin.
Yeah, it's true. More and more people are saying they have sensitive skin.
Right. You'd think with so many products out there, it wouldn't be such a struggle.
Well, it could be because of genetics, the environment, even using too many harsh products.
So are brands like Unique, like specifically targeting people with sensitive skin?
I don't think it's about targeting a specific age or anything. It's more about seeing a need and creating products that work, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like gentle formulas and hypoallergenic ingredients are becoming more and more popular.
Right. Like the industry is finally catching up to the fact that not all skin is the same.
Exactly. And speaking of finding the perfect fit, one reviewer was raving about their experience with Motive's Cosmetics, specifically their custom blended foundation.
Wait, custom blended? Like made just for you?
Exactly. They use a questionnaire to get all the details about your skin, the type, the tone, the coverage you want. Then, their consultants mix pigments to create a unique formula.
That's so cool. Like having your own personal makeup scientist.
Right. This reviewer was super impressed.
I bet. So like how does that even work? What's the science behind it?
It's pretty amazing. Cosmetic chemists have come up with ways to create these really personalized formulas, you know?
Wow. So it's not just about matching your skin tone, it's about making a foundation that works with your skin's chemistry.
You got it. And this trend of personalization isn't just for foundation either.
Really?
Yep. We're seeing it in skincare, hair care, even perfume.
It's like the whole industry is realizing that one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah. And that brings us to another big theme that popped up. The idea of skincare as self-care.
Oh yeah, I saw that in a bunch of the reviews.
It's not just about looking good anymore. It's about feeling good. It's about investing in your well-being.
I love that.
Like, we had this one Clinique user who mentioned getting compliments on their skin after using their products for years.
Yeah. And they were saying it wasn't just about the compliments, it was about feeling good in their own skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that confidence boost can affect, like, everything, right? Your self-esteem, how you interact with people, even your mood.
Totally. And then there was that Lancome user who was all about their in the now approach, like focusing on what your skin needs right now.
Yeah. It's not just selling you a product. It's like a whole philosophy.
Right. And then there's beauty control.
Mm.
Someone was saying how much their products had actually boosted their confidence.
Yeah. It's a perfect example of how good skincare can go way beyond just, like, surface level stuff.
Totally. It's like those little moments of self-care can really add up.
Absolutely. But, you know, aside from these personal experiences, there's also a bigger picture to consider.
Oh, like what?
Well, a lot of people were talking about the impact these, We've got this great contrast between, say, a Maybelline fan who loves the quality but also the price, and then the Chanel lover who's willing to pay more for that prestige, that certain something extra.
Right, which makes me wonder, like, what actually justifies those higher prices in the beauty world? Is it just about quality? Or is there more to it? Like, are we talking fancy ingredients that cost more, or maybe like the research and development that goes into the really high-tech stuff?
It's definitely a mix of things. You've got the ingredients themselves, the technology, all the testing they do to make sure it's safe and effective.
Right, that all it's a
And then there's the stuff you can't really measure, like brand image, the packaging, even like the feeling you get when you use a luxury product.
well, yeah, like that whole idea of treating yourself.
Exactly. And for some people, that experience is worth the extra cost.
Totally. Speaking of which, one brand that kind of surprised me on the list was Artistry.
Oh, yeah. They're not as well known as some of the others, but they have some serious fans.
Yeah. One person even said that Artistry's Creme Luxury made their skin feel 15 years younger.
Wow. Now, whether that's actually possible or not, it definitely shows how much people believe in the product.
Totally. It's like proof that you don't always need a huge name to have a loyal following.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not about having the newest, trendiest thing. It's about finding those classic, reliable products.
Oh, yeah. Like Max Factor. One person was saying they've been using them since they were 18, and they've always loved the quality.
Yep. Max Factor's been around forever, and they just consistently make good stuff.
Like they've got some secret formula or something.
Right. It shows how important consistency is, especially in the beauty world.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to your skin, you don't want to mess around with stuff that might not work.
Exactly. And sometimes those classic products become like what the brand is known for.
Oh, for sure. Like Maybelline's Baby Lips or their
Yeah.
mascaras. Everyone loves those.
Yeah. Maybelline's great at making those cult favorite products that everyone knows and loves.
And they're super affordable too, which is awesome.
Plus, you can find them pretty much anywhere in the world.
Right. One person was even saying how they found Maybelline in Mongolia, and it was like a lifesaver.
That just shows how global they are.
And they're like that perfect balance of quality and price.
Absolutely. But they're not the only ones doing that. There are a bunch of brands that make great stuff without costing a fortune.
Ooh. Like who?
Well, one that stands out is The Body Shop. They're all about natural ingredients, doing things ethically, and keeping their prices reasonable.
I love that. It's like you don't have to sacrifice your values to find good products.
Exactly. And speaking of values, Avon's another one that comes to mind.
I remember one person called them the company that puts mascara on lashes and food on tables.
Yeah.
Like they do so much to help women.
Yeah. It's awesome to see a company using its platform to make a positive impact.
Totally. And it seems like that's becoming more and more important to people these days.
Definitely. We're seeing it with brands like Mary Kay, Actiderm, even Chanel.
It's like people want to buy from companies that reflect their values.
Absolutely. It's about finding that alignment.
Yeah, I get that. So basically, it's not just about the ingredients or the price tag.
Right. It's about finding the right fit for your lifestyle, your beliefs, and your skin.
Exactly. And while this ranking gave us some great ideas, it's just a tiny glimpse into a huge world.
Yeah. There are so many other brands and products out there waiting to be discovered.
And sometimes those discoveries come from the most unexpected places.
Like where?
I don't know, you tell me.
Well, one person was raving about Limelight by Alcone. They said their skincare and makeup were a dream. And this person's a licensed esthetician and makeup artist, so they know what they're talking about.
Ooh, that's a pretty strong recommendation.
Right. It definitely piqued my interest.
Mine too. What other hidden gems did you find?
Ooh, another one that stood out was Malika. One reviewer was totally obsessed with their matte tint, their eyebrow gel, their nail wraps, everything.
That's awesome. It's like they found their holy grail products.
Exactly. And it just goes to show that there's a whole world of cosmetics beyond the usual suspects.
Totally. So what you're saying is we need to keep exploring.
Always. There's always something new to try.
Okay, I'm sold. What else did you find?
Well, there was one brand, Oriflame, that might be a little under the radar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one person was saying they could easily afford pricier brands, but they just trust Oriflame completely.
Wow, what made them such a fan?
They loved the natural ingredients, the results, even the packaging.
That's not something you hear every day.
Right, but it shows how much attention they pay to every detail.
Totally. Plus, they offer a full refund if you're not happy. That's a good sign, right?
Definitely. It shows they stand behind their products.
Yeah. And speaking of standing behind something, I feel like a lot of these reviews were about finding products that truly work for you.
Absolutely. It's like we talked about with sensitive skin, what works for one person might not work for another.
And that's where personal recommendations come in.
Totally. A bunch of people were saying they found out about certain brands through friends or family.
It's like word of mouth is still the best advertising.
For sure. Those recommendations can lead you to brands you might never have thought of trying.
It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah. You never know what you'll find.
Okay, so after hearing about all these amazing discoveries, I'm curious what else really stood out to you, like any brands or comments that you just couldn't get out of your head.
One brand that really stuck with me was Dior. The reviews mention how classic and natural their aesthetic is.
Oh yeah, Dior's always so elegant.
Yeah, and one person even said they wore Dior eye makeup for a 24-hour shift and still got compliments at 3 a.m.
Wow, talk about long lasting.
Right. If you're spending that much on makeup, you want it to last.
Totally. Speaking of investing in good stuff, let's
Yeah.
talk about Bobbi Brown.
Oh, yeah, Bobbi Brown.
One person was saying they had a bad experience with Urban Decay, like it irritated their skin or something.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but then they tried Bobbi Brown and it was like a whole different world.
It's like a reminder that sometimes you have to try a few things before you find what works.
For sure. And it shows how important it is to find products that are right for your skin.
Exactly. And that's what makes exploring the world of cosmetics so fun. It's all about learning and discovering.
Totally. And sometimes it's about connecting with a company on a deeper level, too.
Oh, yeah. Like that Lancome fan who loved their whole in the now philosophy.
Or that Actiderm person who found a whole community through the brand.
Exactly. It's about more than just the products. It's about what the company represents.
And finding a brand that you really connect with that reflects your values.
Totally. So, are you ready to keep going with this exploration?
Always. Let's see what other hidden gems we can unearth. Wow, we've really gone deep into this whole world of, like, the best cosmetic companies out there.
It's amazing how much variety there is, right?
Yeah, like we've seen everything from, like, the super fancy luxury brands to the everyday drugstore stuff.
And even those direct sales companies that are doing their own thing.
Right. But even with all those differences, it seems like they all have one thing in common.
What's that?
That idea of connecting with people on a more personal level.
Oh, absolutely. Whether it's through, like, customizing products or being really ethical or even just creating a community.
Yeah. It's not enough to just sell something anymore. You got to create an experience.
Exactly. It's about building relationships, not just transactions.
And that's when you create real loyalty, right? When people feel like they're part of something bigger.
It's like we were talking about before with skincare as self-care. It's not just about covering things up. It's about taking care of yourself.
And feeling good in your own skin, right?
Exactly. And that can make a huge difference in how you feel about yourself overall.
Yeah. Like, remember that person who was saying how beauty control products made them feel more confident?
Oh, yeah. It shows how powerful that connection can be between, like, how you look and how you feel.
Totally. And it's not just about finding the right products, it's about finding the right companies, too.
Right. The ones that match your values.
Like that Mary Kay person who was so passionate about their charity stuff.
Or the Avon rep who loved how they empower women.
Exactly. It's about more than just buying something. It's about supporting something you believe in.
Absolutely. Which brings us back to that question about, like, what makes some brands so expensive?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, is it worth it to spend more?
Well, we talked about the ingredients, the research, all that stuff.
Right. But then there's also that, like, intangible value.
Yeah. The prestige, the ethics, the feeling of luxury.
Like you're treating yourself to something special.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's a personal decision, right?
Totally. There's no right or wrong answer. It's about what's important to you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what are some of the things you hope people take away from this?
Good question. I guess one of the biggest things is that the world of beauty is always changing.
Oh, for sure. There's always something new to learn.
Yeah. New ingredients, new brands, new ways of thinking about it all.
And that's what makes it so fun.
Totally. So for everyone listening, don't be afraid to experiment, try new stuff, and see what you discover.
And remember, beauty is about so much more than just how you look. It's about feeling confident and being true to yourself.
Yeah. So go out there, embrace your unique beauty, and never stop exploring. And until next time, happy vibing.